Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I welcome you to all of my videos. I hope, I wish that I'm able to convey my ideas in a way that you can understand it and more importantly use it in your life so you can become a better INFJ, a better human being in general. That's my ardent desire with these videos. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about a topic that Mary Fields suggested about the fact that INFJs have this failure to launch associated with them, or they have a hard time launching their lives. I think she's 40, and she's saying that I'm 40, but I still feel like I'm waiting to start my life, even though I'm married and have kids. And the same thing was suggested by some other person who said that he thinks that INFJs are late bloomers. Both of those ideas are pretty much exactly the same thing, that it takes INFJs, and I know because it took me a long time to understand myself and to know what my qualities are, to believe in myself, to realize that I have something to offer to the world, and then to go on and do it, like to get shit done, right? And so it took me a long time to get to this point. So I understand completely when they say that it is taking them a little bit longer than most individuals on the planet to launch into their true lives, into their true selves, into their authentic selves, right? I think the problem, or not the problem, that the issue, or whatever you want to call it, with INFJs in general is that we have a lot of gifts, we have a lot of talents and abilities. You know, we have amazing intuitions, but we don't believe in it. You know, we get all these ideas sent to us by the universe, but again, we don't believe in it because we're like, well, no, it doesn't make any sense. It just came out of nowhere. How do I know these things, right? So we don't believe in it. We have all of these amazing talents in engaging people and communication and writing, and we're usually very intelligent people or smarter than normal. And so we have all these qualities in us, and we could use these qualities for a lot of good. But what happens is that we spend most of our time, most of our lives, as I did, doubting myself. I spent a lot of my time doubting myself, not believing in myself, not understanding myself enough in order to use my talents perfectly, not being able to understand that just because I have all these random skills and talents and abilities doesn't mean that they're not all made for something amazing, and not being able to use them to the best of my ability early on in my life, right? And so for us, we have this thing where if we don't use our abilities early on in life, we have this weird thing where if we don't start being awesome and cool and doing all the things that we want to do with our lives when we're 15, or as soon as we are born, when we are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, you know, we want to start right away. But we think that if we're not able to start right away, if we're not able to start when we are very young, that means we're never going to start, or that we're not good enough, or that we're never going to get there, or that, you know, we're a failure to launch thing. It's not a failure to launch, it's a late bloomer thing. It's the fact that it takes us a little bit more time to get started. But what happens, as people do, as everyone does, we compare ourselves to all other people out there. You know, we compare ourselves to ESFJs, we compare ourselves to ESTJs, you know, people who don't have as much intuition as us, maybe don't have as much talent as us, but they are the kind of people who get up and go. They don't care. They have all of this amazing confidence about themselves, which comes out of nowhere sometimes. And you think to yourself, wow, I don't know how you have all this confidence in you, but apparently you do. And you have all this confidence and you go about life and you're doing all these amazing things, but don't really have as much talent or abilities as I do, but you're still getting shit done. That's a problem with INFJs in general, and I know that that was a problem with me for the longest time, is that not only did I spend way too much of my time, my mental capacity, my mind palace wasted on comparison, on jealousy, and on spending all of my time on emotions that did not really matter rather than getting stuff done. So instead of actually writing my novel that I wanted to write, instead of writing or doing these videos that I wanted to do, or doing other videos, or trying out for an audition that I wanted to try out for, things like that, instead of doing all that stuff, I sat at home and cried about the fact that I wasn't doing any of that stuff, or that I wasn't strong enough for that, or I wasn't confident enough for that, or I spent a lot of time, my time, blaming my parents, or blaming my life, or blaming the fact that I was too tall, or blaming the fact that I was too fat, or blaming the fact that I was too whatever, right? And so I spent all of this time blaming and wasting my life away on nonsense, right? Not doing the things that I was supposed to be doing because I was too afraid to do them, I'm not doing the things I wanted to do because I was, again, too afraid or too doubtful of myself to do them, and spent all of my time wasted on just crying and blaming and weeping and doubting and anxiety and all of that shit, right? Now, obviously, I know much better, and I know myself much better, which is such an important thing, and I can't talk about it enough. And I think that's the reason I do all these videos so often. I do so many of them, is because I really want to get all this information out there into the public's eye as much as possible. Because the more you guys understand yourself, and this is actually the essence of everything that an INFJ is, and a balanced and successful INFJ is going to be that because they understand themselves really, really well. You're not going to get to that point. And every time anyone messages me who says they're an INFJ and they want to do all these amazing things, but they're stuck, I always tell them the most basic step, the most important step is for them to start learning about themselves. Start learning who you are, understanding yourself better. That's the most important step, the only step really. Because as soon as you start learning about yourself, you're going to start doing the things that matter to you more. So the most important thing, I can't emphasize this enough, is for you guys to learn about yourself. Who are you? Why are you here? What do you like to do? What really makes your heart sing? What are the different things that you want to do with your day? What are the different things that you don't want to do with your day? What are the different people that you want to hang out with? Where do you want to live in the world? Where don't you want to live in the world, right? There's so many questions that we need to answer for ourselves particularly. Not for our parents, not for our partner, not for our children, not for anyone else, but for ourselves. What does an authentic self for yourself look like? What is your authentic self? What does she or he look like? You know, what do they want to do with their life? What do they want to spend their lives doing? It's such an important question to ask. Such an important question to ask. It's like the most important question we can ever answer is to learn more about ourselves, our likes, dislikes, interests, blah, blah, blah. And most people don't do that. Most INFJs know a little bit about themselves, but we hide from ourselves. We hide and we do our chameleon thing. We don't really know who we truly are, then we're not playing the chameleon role. And so that's the most paramount thing for you guys to understand. Now, what I did was I would travel. I would just leave my house. I'd quit my job, leave my parents, leave my family, and I just travel for months at a time, just being by myself. And when I was doing that, there were no signs or signals telling me, okay, this is what you have to do. My parents weren't telling me what I had to do. My friends weren't telling me what I had to do, how I had to live my life. My siblings weren't doing the same thing. And most of the time, I couldn't understand the language, or I couldn't read the advertisements, or I couldn't speak to the locals. So no one was really telling me what I should be doing with my life. And when I had that clean slate to work with, I started building a better foundation for myself from the ground up. Because for the longest time, I had no foundation. I had no idea who I really was from the ground up, really. Because I was playing the chameleon role so well for my entire life. Right? I was following the axioms that had been placed in my life by my parents or society or by my siblings or my friends or my colleagues or random other people like that. I didn't really know who I wanted to be. What did I want to do with my life? I had no idea. But when on these journeys that I went, I call it like the Australian walkabout. I was doing exactly the same thing. I was leaving everything behind, and I was moving into my real self by figuring out, okay, what do I like? What don't I like? Do I like this? I thought I liked it, but I don't really like it. And things like that. And little by little, I started learning about who I really was. Little by little. It took me a long time. I have done 3 of these long trips. So from my early 20s to my late 30s, late 20s, I did these long trips. I'd quit my job. I'd save up enough money, quit my job, go travel for months on end, come back, realize a little bit more about myself. Again, do that again, save, go quit my job, go travel for a bit, learn more about myself. Now, I'm not saying that you guys need to do a walkabout. Absolutely not. You know, a lot of my learning about myself has been done more when I just sit by myself in the morning every day. I'll get up every morning now, and I'll journal and I meditate. And those 2 things, just sitting by myself in the silence, in the stillness, the birds singing in the background, as you can hear, the cicadas in the background, the music, the symphony of nature in the background, sustaining me and telling me, just be in the moment and understand yourself better. Learn more about yourself. Who are you? Why are you here? Who are you? Why are you here? Those questions kind of went through my mind over and over again, and they still do. They still do, guys. So it never ends, that questioning, that learning, that moving towards more and more of yourself. That never will be, it's a never ending process. Even now, even though I'm more myself, more my authentic self, there's still so much of myself that I have to learn about. There's so much of myself that I still have to learn about, right? And so I'm slowly moving towards that, slowly but surely moving towards it little by little. But if you guys want to not be that person who's having a hard time launching or being a late bloomer, it's all right, first of all, to be a late bloomer. You're not on the same path as everyone else, right? And I'm totally fine with the fact that it took me so long to get here because I know truly that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. It took me a while to understand what it is, but I'm here finally, right? So it's not, the time doesn't matter. But the point is, you need to learn about yourself. You need to know who you really are in order to do what you're supposed to be doing here. And if you don't spend the time in order to learn about yourself, then you're wasting basically your time. Because what you're doing is you're living other people's lives that have been dictated by other people to you. This is how you should live your life, and you do it. But you feel this niggle inside of yourself. You feel this doubt inside of yourself saying, I don't think this is what I'm supposed to be doing really. I don't think this is the life I'm supposed to be leading. And that's what causes the midlife crisis, the quarter life crisis, all those crises when you're sitting there thinking, shit, I don't think I can live this life anymore because it's not me, right? And that's what people do. I don't want you guys to go through that crisis situation. Why not just kind of preempt it and work through it and understand yourself better so you don't have to live a lie and you don't have to run away from that lie by having a crisis, right? I hope this makes sense to you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. I'm here to answer your questions. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.